what I amount to. Please, government, thank you.
I'm on my way to Grass Valley to play a gig and talk with homeless people.
So now I've sprayed some of that in there, and I could hardly touch it because the metal was so hot. So I've made it up to Gold Country. That's a mining museum up here in Grass Valley. Some of the equipment they used in those days. Now there's a guy, I forgot his name, I've played with him. This is not the drummer I referred to before, but he's homeless. You can see him there. He's out here all day playing drums. I'm gonna go and see if he'll talk with us. In Auburn, that halfway point up the hill, my brother lives, and he has a garden, and he gave me this all to give to the homeless tonight. And so I'm going to take a couple of these over to the drummer and his buddy in hopes that he'll talk with us.
Right? And the dog's just watching there, proving out, and just fucking filming the whole thing, you know what I mean? So it's not like it's too animal assisted, you know what I mean?
Hey man, how you been the last year?
I've been working this animal assisted porn thing, and I got a lot of fucking videos ready to go. You know what I mean? I got skateboarding to do, I got drumming to do, and I got sexing to do. And I don't fuck around when it comes to either four of those.
Cool. Thank you. So that was a very disturbing experience. The only time before that I've interacted directly with clearly someone in meth addiction was when I played a pump organ in front of the cathedral in Sacramento. There was a Methhead woman who was going to get my coffee, and there were 2 police actually stationed in that cathedral plaza, so I did not feel in danger, and they actually arrested her, not due to my asking, but it was very clear that she was on meth. In fact, they asked her when did you take the crystal meth as they were arresting her. They arrested her right next to my organ. So in this case, I guess he's going by Bam Bam now.
My name's Bam Bam.
A year ago or so, he's been out there probably a year and a half or 2 years, virtually every day playing drums, even in wet weather, without an umbrella. And when I talked with him a year ago, he had a completely different appearance. You know, so I guess I'm experiencing now the stuff that I have seen on the kind of posters from police. And his teeth look different. And his eyebrows are gone, and he has a much more gaunt appearance. And he was totally coherent when I talked with him a year ago. We talked in not at all nonsensical conversations. He was just like a clear-headed person. And he was living in the forest, but he told me his real name, and I had hopes that his rhythm would sort of improve because he's playing all day.
I have some regret, almost want to cry for him, because he told me that playing with me was the best musical day of his life, and I know that I could have done a lot more to help him musically.
But his rhythm has not improved, although he gets little spurts of success, as you see maybe in the video.
He realizes he's too high to play with any competence and starts singing, "I'm too high, I'm too high."
This time there were 2 guys with him. Before, he would get visitors who were like serious, like there was an African-American saxophonist who would come by and play with him, and I took out my equipment and I played with him, my battery-powered rig, and we played for hours. And this time there were 2 guys there, 2 white guys, The way they looked at me was definitely disturbing as I approached. I was not feeling as safe as before, but it was a very, very public spot. And he did recognize me, so I wasn't worried about, wasn't seriously worried about my safety. And then at the end, after I shot the video, I gave him 2 of those cucumbers from my brother's garden, and they were very thankful. So I don't want to be naive about that, but they were very thankful. And so that made me sort of realize that that's one way to defuse the situation, make it more comfortable. There's a couple places around in the area I traversed that have felt less safe than previously. In West Sacramento, I nearly got mugged, and I learned from that when somebody pulls up close to your car, it's already a kind of a violation of your space. And that guy got out in West Sacramento, this is just a couple days ago, and got up real close to my window, asked for $20, and then he appeared to be getting then he accepted when I said, I live in my trailer, I don't have any money. He accepted that. He went back to his car. This was in broad daylight, 4 p.m. or something like that. And I believed that he was pulling out a packaged BB gun that looks like a regular handgun. So, it was in that hard plastic, like you'd have to use scissors to open it up. And as soon as I saw that, I put my van into gear and left. So in this case, when I got back to my car after talking with the drummers, I recognized that this other car had parked very close to me, uncomfortably close, and it was parked pretty much right next to my car. So what I did is I got out my key. My door key, and had it prepared and went around the far side. So they were parked on my driver's side, and I went around the far side, and as soon as I got into their view on the far side, I hurried right up to the door and opened my door. This is again a very public space, but probably not a space that has video surveillance, so they may be attuned to that and probably aware that they could get away with something. Bam Bam, I have forgotten his older name, though I might have it in my own records, my own journal, from a year ago when I wrote about him. He talked about some kind of a game where they steal from stores and then they steal from each other. So I guess that may be some kind of a joke, but one can't tell.
That slows me down. I can't. And this is what I came up with personally, and this is animal-assisted porn.
So my first experience seeing the transformation between a person just like you and me to being a zombie, I felt like I was in a zombie apocalypse, because their eyes looked different, just the way they looked at me, the coloration of their face. So here we are in Nevada City. This is First Baptist Church. I'll be playing upstairs there. That's the Catholic Church back there. Apparently, a couple years ago, there was actually a guy who was allowed to live in an RV right at that spot for a couple of years. The Sierras. Nevada City is a beautiful little town nestled in the mountains in Northern California. That is an Episcopal church over there. Looks like perhaps another vehicle dweller down here. Maybe I'll try to contact that person. And for context, there's that Catholic church again. After the tense encounter with Bam Bam and his friends, it was a relief to spend the evening with other friends in total safety.
I'm down there where $55 unlimited, where most of the time I go online, I guess there's so much traffic I can't get online.
Alan, tell us about the song that you wrote. You said it got into songbooks, and you ended up getting royalties for this.
It's Arms of the Lord.
So some of our Christian audience is probably going to recognize this, maybe even.
Yeah. Actually, Chuck Smith has sung it a number of times from the pulpit, and he kind of changed the words. He'd sing, "It's so good to be in the house of the Lord," or "It's so good to be in the love of the Lord." So we took some liberties with it and just used it as a chorus to help encourage people, when he was preaching.
Would you sing just a verse of it so we recognize the tune?
Yeah. It's so good to be in the arms of the Lord. It's so good to be in the arms of the Lord. It's so good to be in the ever-loving arms of the Lord. It's so good to be in the arms of the Lord.
Thank you. This is a part that reminds me of little Italian cities. There are a lot of Victorians here. Actually, some very impressive up in the hills. This is just one close to downtown. This is a corner where people busk a lot. Busking is, of course, playing instruments in public with a tip hat or a tip jar out on the street. They'll either be over here on the left or on the right on that corner. Costume shop. Steampunk is really big up here, and they have legitimate claim to that past because there was a guy in Grass Valley named Lyman Gilmore who claimed to fly a steam-powered airplane before the Wright brothers. Steampunk is from stuff like, I guess, City of the Lost Children would count. Movie. They'll have like goggles like that and pipes. That's definitely steampunk right there. Chocolate shop. Fur trader shop. This is a bar. The owner seemed really nice back when I was going to bars. Decorated entirely in steampunk theme. I got 86'd from that bar, but that doesn't bother me because I hardly drink anymore. But before that, I had an interesting experience. I met someone in there who was the sister of a drug addict who had overdosed, and she hired me for his funeral. $100, and she paid me up front without knowing anything about my music. So I have that memory of getting $100 cash out in their patio in the back. That is the corner where we were last night, chatting with homeless. This is going to be a coffee place, large coffee place that already exists. They're just moving. That's actually a pretty high bridge, and down there is a rocky creek like you'd expect in the Sierras. Over here is another street of downtown. One thing that makes this such a pleasant downtown and walkable and nice, attractive is because there are all these streets that are not just one long street.
Large monolithic building across the way looms like a castle over the city.
This is some Mickey Mouse organization. Oh no, it says courthouse. Oh, this is the courthouse. Again, like Europe. Then an alley over here that's kind of dark at night. The Chinese were here in the 1800s. This is a crushing device for when homeless people panhandle are caught more than 3 times. They get smashed under there. Now, actually, it is for gold mining, and they put the ore down there, and it was smashed. And there are quite a few of these around town, or several of them. There are quite a few of these around town. This is called a monitor, and this was used for what's called hydraulic mining. So they would blast water out of there in extremely high pressure. I think this isn't even the largest one around. And they would blast away entire hillsides until the first environmental law, I guess in the United States supposedly, because there was so much stuff going downstream that they had to stop this method of mining. Here is a memorial to those Chinese workers of the 19th century. There's actually a very impressive gate from an old era, maybe from the 19th century, that is in a museum here, about 20 feet tall.
It is Saturday morning, so there's a farmer's market going on. This is the back of First Baptist Church. The Catholic Church's chimes are audible.
Maybe I am, maybe they're right. One thing I know, it was love at first sight. I'm talking beer, cold beer. Don't you ever worry, I'm